Everybody, it's me, Andrew. Get out into nature and tune in for yourself. Resonate with the Earth's electromagnetic field via 432 hertz, the universal frequency. Balance out psychologically and emotionally, and further strengthen your brain and your heart's coherence as well. Get a plant-based diet going for yourself today and nurture yourself right back into life. We're literally herbivores in our nature. Further balance out your physical body's pH level, and to get with alkalinity, then you can generate some static electricity. Send me some love telepathically, set attention to your mind, and set intention to communicate. That is all there is to telepathy. You are now tuning in to great days. So today I wanted to talk about connecting yourself with the universe, but not only connection or strengthening connection. Uh, I wanted to talk about being here and now, right? Not getting entangled in what is not taking place, right? So let's get into this. Um, so I'm pretty much gonna simplify this. I'm trying to simplify this. Uh, each and every time that I explain it, I'm just going to simplify it, right? So that it could get more easier, simpler for you to latch on to, so you can utilize the information. Um, so being here in the now is literally meditation, right? Connection with oneself is being present, being presence, being in the now, the here and the now, right? This is as simple as I can put it. Just being is what it is. Non-actions, right? Falling into an actionless action and not generating karma, so that the entanglements slowly so that there's a cessation of entanglement rather than a generation of it, you know. So the more that you're able to sit within yourself and just be here in the present moment without entangling yourself in non-existent conceptual realities or projections, delusions, things like this, you can slowly open vibrationally, right? And this is exactly what you want to happen. You want to open up vibrationally, because this is how you liberate yourself from karma, or the entanglement, or this is how you liberate yourself from entanglement, because the entanglement uh, is the knotting, or even the entanglement is what is tying you up and keeping you in complexities, when you want things to be simple. So to come into a deeper state of enjoyment, you need not to allow things to get so over entangled, because then you're always in a struggle to get out of something which is non-existent, right? Because you're kind of like struggling like a fish in a net. You're just kind of struggling, and it's wearing you out, but you're not even doing anything, you know. And you can observe people people who have are in this. I know I've been in it. I'm in it. I'm in it here and there, you know, because I'm still learning. But if you observe people, a lot of people are just like so tired. And this is because they've entangled themselves in projections and delusions, things like this, and that they're wasting energy on nothing, so then they grow weary and they grow tired, and they grow sick eventually because their energies are in a turmoils. So you can open yourself up vibrationally, and that opens up the entanglements. The kundalini energy is coiled up at the base of the spine. That's entanglement. It's an entangling. It's a coiling. It's coiled itself up. It's an energetical coil, or like an entanglement, you know. And if you're able to open that up vibrationally upward or up the spine, it pretty much is able to detangle itself, and it goes upward the spine, slithers up the spine. It's the serpent energy or the sexual energy, you know. So you are there's a lot of energetical forms like this, which are coils, or entanglements that can be opened up, and that's what opening up vibrationally is. And that begins as you start to sit yourself in the present moment. You can use like activity as well. You don't have to do anything, you don't have to make it a sitting, but you can be active as well, because this is also something that rises the kundalini energy. uh, but when you're active, you're naturally doing what you're doing. You're not getting fixated on things that you're not doing, because the activity itself is drawing you in. you know like if you're playing a sport, you're getting absorbed in the sport. You're not so much as entangling yourself or fixating yourself on other things, unless you're really like distracted, you know. But then that's pretty much symbolizing that there's something that is catching your attention, you know. But you can also do it by sitting, right? Or not sitting, but just being and not really doing anything, just fixating yourself here in the present moment and allowing things to flow. Watch the flow of energy, uh, and that's all that is needed to open up vibrationally, and even to raise the kundalini. Um, but it takes a little bit, you know. So let me see. Coming into the present moment is going to allow you to simplify things extremely, because the complexities are arising, which are like networks are not a bad thing, but you can get entangled in them, you know. And entanglement is something that you don't want to identify yourself with, because it can create unnecessary strugglings. So it's best to keep yourself grounded and centered, right? If you're able to do this, which you have to teach yourself to do this, um, it's innately in you, but you have to you have to like relearn it, because you've already learned you've already learned how to entangle yourself, right? And waste energy and grow sick and things like this, because this is what is being taught. by schools, by everybody, because this is what everybody is learning, and that's the trend. But it's not a healthy thing. They're not teaching the health. They're not teaching health. They're teaching insanity. You know, which is entanglements, or which is synonymous with entanglement. Entanglement is natural, and insanity is also natural in some aspect, but it's grown. It's over excessive, so you can pretty much simplify things if you bring yourself into the now, meditation, and you're able to liberate your energy, right? Or yourself. You're able to liberate yourself on multiple different aspects or multiple dimensions if you're able to just relax yourself and not fixate yourself on many different things at once, and even things which are not really happening, but you're fixated on them, like before I started meditating, I would kind of run different scenarios in my head, right? Which there would probably be like 12, 13 different scenarios that I would be running in my head. Um, and well, for one, I would go through each and every one, and just waste energy, mental energy, on these multiple scenarios that I would be creating in my mind, and I wouldn't actually do any of that, right? And the scenarios themselves were completely useless to my actual progression in the here now, or in reality, right? So uh, when I started meditating, I was able to completely dissolve away that type of thing, which would be creating different types of scenarios, for nothing, just out of entanglement. I was creating scenarios. Out of my karma, I was creating scenarios just to entangle myself deeper, which it was on a mental level, is entangling me deeper, which I was getting attached and suffering. And this was everywhere in my life. I was doing these types of things. So I was able to liberate mental energy, which I can then concentrate now, and use that mental energy for my own empowerment. So it allowed me to empower myself and grow stronger because of that, and that's what it does, or that's what coming into the present moment does for you. If you're able to come into a state of realization at a certain point within the suffering, its prolongment, then you may be able to trigger the intention for coming into the here and now. Like after a certain amount of suffering, you finally snap in your understanding that something needs to be changed, or that you are getting entangled in things which you don't want to be caught in, you know. So you can liberate yourself if you just come into the present moment. But once again, you got to learn how to do this. It's not. It just doesn't happen, or it does happen. Is the whole joke about it, but it's that you're so distracted, or you're so fixated on things which are just entanglements, right? So you're just getting caught up in different things, which taking your energy, thinning your energy, and and throwing you off your balance, and you're falling sick. All different types of things are going on that you have no idea of, and you're blaming other people for everything, right? When everything is really just emanating from you, because you're the universal axis, you're the center of the universe, and everything that is happening in the entire universe is coming from you. So you can never actually blame anybody else for anything that is occurring in your life. Um, but you're the center of the universe. So you're able to decide what is happening in your reality. Um, so if you're able to come into the present moment, if you're able to do this for yourself, you can open up vibrationally, and that's synonymous with liberation, consciousness as well, or expansion of consciousness, and enlightenment, which is light of mind, which is illumination, which is allowing the energy to flow into the higher chakras. If it's able to do so, then the pineal is going to illuminate, it's going to secrete, and there's going to be a light coming from it, which is the light of the third eye, or the light of the mind, right? So this illuminates the corona, and you're able to go into deeper dimensions from that, which is just, it's the fruits of it, or the leaves, I don't really know, the flowers of of the growth of the tree, you know. So you could connect with yourself. You got to connect with yourself, because that's literally the only thing that you really want to do, or the only thing that you really desire to do, is to connect with yourself. Everything else is just bullshit, right? And the only thing you really want to do is connect with yourself, right? So that you can get intimate with yourself, so you can unify with yourself, right? So you can have sex with yourself, and sex, not in a physical sense, but not only in a physical sense, but just sex, which is sacred union, which is all of life. And that's what everybody really wants, or really needs, is that unification, right? Which is yoga. Yoga is union, and you really just want to be you really just want to be in union, or you really just want to be intimate with yourself, which everything is yourself, and intimacy is deep truth, or vulnerability, you know, intimate, intimate, intimacy, and dancing and playing, doing things like this. You don't want to cover up your youth, because that's poison. You're poisoning yourself when you're doing that. But you also don't want to avoid maturity, because that can also be a type of poisons, right? So it's definitely you definitely need balance, um, which can easily be which can easily be experienced if you're able to connect with yourself. If you are able to connect with yourself, then you can easily experience balance. but you got to really connect with yourself. You can't fake a connection, right? Because then you're not actually connecting with yourself, and it's just you're still in misalignment, right? So if you're able to just be here now in the present moment without entangling yourself in other non-existent things, or just or projections, let's call them projections of of whatever, you know, bullshit, uh then you can open up vibrationally. And if you're able to open up vibrationally, then you're able to connect with yourself on deeper and deeper levels, because the energy is there. uh, and you can reflect. As you begin to reflect, self-reflection, you can connect with yourself. um, and that's what you really want to do. You want to connect with yourself, because when you're in connection, the flow of energy is there. You connect yourself with the earth, and you get a harmonious flow of energy, because you're closing the circuit, so everything is connected, right? um, you can get that negative grounding, and you can have the positive charge. You negatively discharge and you positively are charged, and the energy is flowing, right? I don't know anything about electricity. I'm not an electrician, so I can't talk about energy. I can't talk about electricity, right? But I do, because I'm an electrical being. So it's in my expression. It's in my design to be able to fluently speak electrical, right? So self-reflection is intimacy, because when you're reflecting, or when you're in reflection, you're in a certain type of union. Okay, so you're in a unificated, or you're in unification already, and that allows you to self-reflect. Everything is you. What do I mean by this? Everything is you. Everything is me. There's only one organism, and there's no other. Everything is interdependent. What does that mean? Everything is interconnected. What does that mean? That I would not be able to exist without you. Humanity doesn't exist without the trees. So they're interconnected like DNA strands, right? So if the trees died out and ceased, then humanity would die out and cease as well. Um, so that's the interconnectedness. That means that we are one. There's no division, because division is a conceptual illusion, or it's a delusion. It's a projected delusion, and that's one of the entanglements. That keeps people in a tension, in a conflict within themselves. Um, so if you're able to experientially realize that there is no separation, because you can know that there is no separation. Somebody can tell you that concept is an illusion and that there is no separation, and you can slowly align with that knowledge. But if you don't actually first-handed experience it, first-handedly experience it, then it doesn't immediately click with you, you know. So you need to have the experience of that universal interconnectedness, and then you will know for yourself firsthand, experientially, that the universe is just one organism, and that there is no separation. The space around me, you conceptualize or you label it as a separating, as a separation factor, or whatever you want to call it. uh, but the space is not, it's not empty space, or um, it's not separating anything. It's just an extension of our body. The space is my body. So um, the space is just an extension of our body. So we're in our own body, you know. We're cells in a larger cell, and that larger cell is a cell in a larger cell, you know. And as the universe, it's fractal. You can find fractal patterns all throughout nature. Your thoughts are sequenced in fractal. uh Everything is fractal. Your veins are root systems. They're of a different composition or a different arrangement of the various different makeups, but it's in the same formulation. So it's fractal. It's the same pattern manifesting itself, right? Um, it's just manifesting itself with different compositions. So the whole design of fractal allows it reveals to us that there's no separation, because the fractal pattern, it is a it is a pattern that is proving that there's no separation, due to the fact that it is infinitely self-repeating. But it's not going to click for you, because you haven't experienced you haven't experienced it. So I can just give you the knowledge, but it's not going to click for you. You can't see it, because you haven't experienced it. And how to experience it, you have to come into the now, and then that's the gateway, right? That's how you come into the experience of the interconnectedness. The dualistic mind is causing tension. There's separateness in the dualism, in the dualism of the mind. So you're experiencing a separateness, but there is none, right? So when you come into the one heart, you're able to experience oneness, and then you can have the experience. You can really feel it. With the feeling behind it, you can definitely really come to know it, because otherwise it's borrowed knowledge, or it's just something that was given to you but is not nourishing until you're able to really feel it or experience it, you know. So that's why you want to come into the now, the present moment, so that you can experience the interconnectedness and the love, the unconditional love, and the bliss that comes with consciousness, right? Um, because that's where everybody is. It's consciousness. Um, you can like postpone it. You can postpone your disillusion into absoluteness, but you're just going to be running around in a rampant confusion, you know, until then, until you commune with God, which is consciousness, or your true self, which is connection with yourself, which comes with the opening up of the vibrational rate or the rising of your energy, which is the rising of your consciousness. So that's what is that's the absolute truth dissolving into consciousness, right? And becoming oneness, and then noneness, and then cessation of being, death, and then realizing there is no death, right? And then you can go from there, or you can you can you can just be in a bliss, right? There's no entanglement. It's completely simplified to the point of non-existence, which is what everybody can dissolve into if you're able to ground yourself in the here and the now. You're already there is the whole thing, but you're entangled, you're in distractions. There's a whole lot of stimulation that is being stirred up in your mind. There's informational overloads that are being stirred up in your mind, and due to that informational overload, you can't experience that absoluteness. So this is why you want to this is why you want to be in the here now, and cessate all of the psychological turmoils, the stimulation, the overload the overload of information, um, and just be, right? Because this is what's going to actually allow you to saturate the experience after having it oversaturated, and then it slowly dulled, right? Kind of like doing a whole bunch of things that you've always wanted to do until the point where it may have gotten boring, you know, or like just being given a lot of stuff, um, but you can't actually enjoy them because there's too much things to enjoy, right? So it's kind of like this type of thing. All this information is slowly causing turmoil, that is disconnecting people, right? So this is why it's a necessity to be able to ground yourself here in the now, and come back into that interconnected experience so that you can really get into the magic of life, right? Um, which is just a rising of energy. One thing that the stimulation of information and the whole psychological turmoil is doing is creating knots, and these knots aren't allowing the flow of energy, right? So there's a lack, or there's there's a non-fluent flow of energy. So the energy level is naturally low. It's naturally low or lowered, right? So this is why you want to settle things, let things settle in yourself, so that the energy level can slowly unkink, or the various different pathways, or the anatomies can unkink themselves, and the energy can flow. So then you come into a deeper perception of life, and that's what is needed. That's the nourishment. Otherwise, you're just dying, and you're not enjoying life. And everybody is, if you just observe, you're going to see everybody within that, right? Because this is what society is teaching the people. So the best thing to do is to just be, or relax, and ground yourself in the here and the now, and let the universe work its magic on you, right? Because the universe is more intelligent than you. But you can dissolve into the universal intelligence if you allow yourself to, and you can become one with it. So that's the ultimate connection. That's what you want to do for yourself. You want to connect with the universe, which is just you, on a macrocosmic level. And you do that through the geometrical alignment, yoga, meditation, which is something within everybody. Everybody is in a meditative state if it can be doused and realized, right? You just gotta really know or realize where it is that you're meditative, or where it is that you're meditative in your space and time, until there is none. After investing in the meditativeness, so that's gonna be it for today's video. I do thank everybody for watching. Once again, peace out, one love, and have a great evening.